these really pretty patterns.
Right.
I mean, I don't know if it's the same one. I have no idea. We have confirmed that we have 3 different red-bellied woodpeckers, which I now refer as the Pedros.
The Pedros.
I don't know why, but I just call them Pedro. And so there's multiple different ones you can tell by their heads. So we have the Pedros. Mm-hmm. So they're
and the
here.
Extended family of Pedros.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of red-winged blackbirds out in the tree right now looking like real bummed, and I totally get it, guys. I feel exactly the same way. So, that said, I suppose that's enough about that.
We do not have flickers.
We
do not have
Well,
flickers.
there's at least one. I think it might be a unicorn.
Yeah, well...
It's like in that movie...
Maybe it was a lamppost or a light of some sort.
God, you want to out me for that, you jerk?
I feel like I should. Maybe people would understand my,
You're a northern flicker. Stop it.
I am not a northern flicker.
You're something.
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep it to myself. I won't out you today.
No, that's fine. Mm-hmm. I always
you can out yourself.
Yeah, I will because
that's what you do.
Because again, I'm the whole show.
Yeah.
I'm always looking as we're driving down the highway and stuff. There's like a lot of hawks around here because we have lots of like grassy space with trees and stuff around it. So there's just a lot of hawks, and a
variety of different hawks.
Yeah, we have the Cooper's hawks and sharp-shinned hawks, and there's falcons, just
red tails.
Yeah, red tails. There's just all kinds of stuff. I think we have chicken hawks out here, and occasionally you'll even see a bald eagle, which is kind of super cool. But you usually see the hawks sitting in trees on the side of the road, essentially looking down at the grass, waiting to pounce on some poor, some hapless little jabroni bird.
Which I actually witnessed the other day.
Did you really?
Pretty awesome.
You saw? Oh, that's so cool.
It swooped down and picked up a little rodent and then flew up.
Oh, that poor little bugger.
I know.
Circle of life, dude.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Happened.
Maybe don't be low on the food chain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's still kind of cool. So we see these all the time, and I'm always pointing them out when I should be focusing on driving, but whatever. I'm from New Jersey. I'm an excellent driver, so it's fine.
Right.
Yeah. So, so the one day I'm looking up, and I thought I saw a bird. I'm like, oh, look at that hawk. And Horsey Adventure's like, it's a light. And it was like a lamp, like on a pole, sort of inside a tree. And it wasn't a bird.
Right.
The only bird was my brain.
So God only knows what you see when you think you see a flicker.
Drugs are bad, okay?
Exactly.
So maybe it's not a northern flicker.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, that we could talk about all kinds of stuff, but I'm going to save some stuff. Oh, there's an angry Pedro. Look, he's fighting off a red-winged blackbird. Yeah. Good job, Pedro. So we are going to... we'll save some fun stuff for next week. We'll talk about how Asmodee is apparently ruining the board game world with price fixing. That could be a whole show. We've got a bunch of cool guests coming up for this season.
I'm very excited about that.
I have confirmed some returning folks. Gil Hova will be back on the show. In a couple weeks, we are going to talk to Dan Kassar, designer of Arboretum, one of our favorite games that
it's a beautiful game.
Been criminally underprinted, so we'll talk about that and turn some folks onto that. We've got a few others that we're trying to line up. We're going to go see the Dogmite Games folks, purveyors of most excellent wooden gaming ware.
They're absolutely gorgeous.
And they happen to be local guys, which is cool. They live and work about 15 minutes from us. So that's super awesome. We've got some other things where we're going to try to talk to some game store owners and get some feedback from them on the hobby and that sort of thing in general. And in 2 episodes, I say that because I know we're splitting up the first one, but in 2 episodes, we're going to have a famous French board game designer on the show. That's the only hint I'm giving you right now.
Who could that possibly be?
He's French.
Is he French?
He might be French. He might live in a citadel or perhaps a lost temple. He's been seen hanging out with raptors.
Wow, that's an interesting dude.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, he's an interesting dude. That is for sure. And we'll talk more about that one in a couple weeks. But this week's episode, we have one of my favorite designers and publishers and just a generally awesome guy, David Harding, is coming back on the show from Grail Games. So we've got a chat with David Harding. We're going to be splitting that interview into 2 weeks, this week and next week's show. And this week, we're going to give you guys a review of Matcha.
Yes.
a most wonderful 2-player card game from David. And next week, for the second half of his episode, we are going to review his new release of Circus Flocati, a Reiner Knizia classic that's gotten one of the most divisive graphic design treatments in many, many years.
It's quite interesting.
It's a thing.
Yes.
I personally think it's fantastic. And
I love it.
It's awful in all the right ways. How's that sound?
Yeah.
So this week we're going to talk about Matcha. I say Matcha half the time because that's how David pronounces it. And David's going to tell us a little bit about what he's got coming up in Grail Games from their catalog this year and some of next year. So make sure you listen to next week's episode as well to hear the full interview and get reviews of both of his awesome games that we're going to talk about. So if you want to reach out to us, the best way to do it, I'm not even going to plug the Board Game Geek usernames anymore because most of the interaction comes on Twitter. So
that's true.
You can find me at Cardboard Insane or the Horsey Avenger at Horsey_Avenger on Twitter. And we're on Twitter a lot. I tweet frequently.
You do.
I do. I like it.
I try to keep up. I know I'm on Twitter. I don't tweet all that much, but I'm trying.
Well, you're the you're like the David Spade to my Chris Farley.
That's true. That's true.
Which
I know
would
my
make
role.
the best Halloween costume for us, wouldn't it?
Oh my God,
no.
yes.
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right, that's enough of our jibba jabba. Let's go to my interview with David Harding, and after that, stick around for the Horsey Avenger and I reviewing Matcha.
Matcha.
Matcha, matcha, matcha.
Matcha.
All right, everybody, welcome back from the break. I have with me an alumni of Cardboard Insanity, one of the founding fathers from the early days of the podcast. I'm making him blush, I think. And despite the fact that he's incredibly tired from partying hard all night, welcome David Harding to the show, and thank you for joining us in the wee hours of Easter morning in Australia.
Thank you.
It's good to see you again, buddy.
Easter, if that's your thing. Good to see you.
It's been, when did we last talk? I think it was April or May of last year.
Yeah, probably.
Way too long.
Yeah.
So since then, we have a bunch of things to talk about, and I'm just going to go for it. So since then, you have been a busy man, at least board game wise. I'm not sure about your personal life. I'm going to assume that's busy with children and being married and all that jazz. But you have put out games at a rate that's almost mind-boggling for a single man running a small publishing company.
Yes.
How have you done it? Let's see. You've put out. I'll probably miss one, but Matcha came out last year in the later half of the year. Guns and Steel came out at some point.
Yep.
Circus Flocati.
Yep. Oh, that's officially this year.
Is that this year? Well, it's fine. All right, but since the last time we talked, so we're still in that same ballpark. But you did the 101 expansion.
Yeah.
And you ran a very successful Kickstarter for Medici.
Yep.
How do you find the time and the energy for all this stuff?
I don't know.
From what I can see, I honestly believe it's the cup of coffee that's the same size as your head from what I can see on the Skype here.
Oh, I don't know how I do it, and I am going crazy slowly. And this year is going to be a lot softer, but it hasn't happened yet.
Okay, so, geez, where do we want to start here? So, last time you and I spoke, I was probably extolling the virtues of 101, and not long after that, you had sent over Too Many Cinderellas, which we absolutely adored. Is that game doing well for you? Because it's fantastic.
Surprisingly, sorry about the pause there. Let me think how to say it.
I know. I put you right on the spot for this one, didn't I? I can always edit this out, but I won't.
Okay. Well, it's of course. Look, all the games we've put out, very, very flattered with their response that people have given them. But definitely 11's is quite a ways above everything else as far as sales.
Okay.
With Matcha catching up. And 101 and Too Many Cinderellas and Guns and Steel Like they're all going to sell out of their print runs. I'm very, very excited.
Oh, so
very
they're
happy.
doing very well then.
Yeah,
That's
I guess
cool.
so.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're doing these in small print runs, almost sort of boutique style, right? So if you're selling out of a print run of anything ever, that's awesome. You could be like the Splotter guys who make about 15 games at a time and sell out of a print run, but their games are that's something else altogether. I don't know if you follow that, but the kerfuffle on Board Game Geek about that is delightful, isn't it? Why are you guys only making 20 at a time? Relax, people, relax. So you're doing a significantly bigger number than that.
Yeah, I err on the side of conservatism, though. I don't want my family to, years after I've gone, still have boxes and boxes of card games hanging around in the shed or something. But, yeah, the problem with small print runs is there's not as much profit per copy. But at the moment, the goal is just to get the games out there and get them played and get them enjoyed and get them seen. And so I don't really care about that.
That's good. All right. So am I right in seeing that it looks like Eagle Griffin is now carrying 11s?
Okay. So this is a bit confusing. This is a very long story.
That's fine. We have a very long podcast.
Okay. I might just give you the end of the story.
Fair enough.
And that is that what they're publishing is called 11s is for One, which is a solitaire game.
Okay.
Set in the 11s universe.
Okay. Was that designed by you as well?
Yeah.
Cool.
So that was actually a game that was runner-up in the Golden Geeks last year for print and play. It was just a print and play game.
Okay.
And they're going to publish it, but it's also going to have in the same, because it's only 13 cards.
Right.
In the same box, you're going to get another game as well by Sid Saxon. So they've got the two greatest designers of all time in one
box. Sid Saxon, that's awesome. What are they putting in there with him?
So it's called Bowling Solitaire, which is another...
Oh, yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, you just make it at home game, but it's going to be a formal edition.
But don't make it at home. Buy this fancy edition and get your own copy of 11s is for One.
Yeah. Hey, here's a great fact for all the lovers of Australian gaming out there, all 6 of you. The art of Bowling Solitaire is by my brother.
Really?
Philip, who designed Sushi Go.
Mm-hmm.
And other things, of course. But if you like the art of Sushi Go, you'll like Bowling Solitaire.
Oh, that's fantastic. Cool. So they got both of you guys, the former Adventureland game guys, together in one box. Yeah,
I'm the better one. So he's sort of carrying it a bit. He just did the art, but
oh, that's fine. Well, I mean, so every band needs a bass player.
Yeah,
and he's like the bass player. True. He's not really bringing the. How come every time we're talking, we start trashing your brother? I think it was last time we were doing it because he hyphenated his name when he got married.
Oh yeah,
that's probably why he won't come on my podcast.
Didn't he?
No,
I've forgotten. Yeah. I remember you talked about Pack of Heroes.
I did talk about Pack of Heroes because that's an awesome game. I'm going to take a sidebar real quick here. I see you have it's not Help behind you. It's Hard Day's Night, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. That the movie poster?
Yeah.
Those...
Not the real one. It's
no. No,
but
I wish it was the real one. I'd come to your house and just like sit there and just pet it. Those are some of my favorite movies ever. Those old Beatles movies are so fantastic.
I know.
John Lennon was hysterical, and I don't even know that he meant to be. He was just hysterical.
Very clever.
Right?
That movie actually is very... I mean, it's not exactly, but it reminds me of old Marx Brothers movies, actually. It's very whimsical and it's clever, and it knows it's clever, but it's hilarious as well.
It always looked like in those movies that they were actually having fun doing them.
Yeah.
Until you got to Magical Mystery Tour, where they were obviously just so baked, they had no idea what was going on. But those first one, like Hard Day's Night and Help, it just looks like they're actually having fun and like each other.
That is very true, yeah.
So, all right, so back to games, because I guess that's why we could talk about whatever we want. It's our podcast, right? These people paid good money to hear this, so they're gonna listen. When the Guns and Steel Kickstarter came out, I had heard about that game in passing whispers, sort of on Board Game Geek, is this crazy Japanese game with double-sided cards. What made you want to grab that one?
Uh,